Alright, what up you guys? I'm making waffles today. Some vegan, healthy shit. So, I'll just list out the ingredients, show you guys what I got. That's all we need. I'll put this together. Perfect consistency. Right on the first try. Perfect. Done. Pretty damn good looking waffles, I'd say. Check that out. Pretty damn good. Yeah, these waffles are freaking awesome. They fit my whatever crazy diet right now. Yeah. But I'll finish these up and we can get to talking. So it's been a hot second since the last video I made, and almost 3 weeks. I did that one November 10th and today is 26, so 2 weeks. But it has been an absolute nightmare. It is an understatement of the century to say that this has been a nightmare. This is hands down the scariest, most upsetting thing that has happened all year. I can only think of one other thing that has happened to me this year that has even come close to comparison to this level of impact. And it's just, oh, and I'm out of explanations. I'm out of any story. I don't have an explanation for this, you know? I've had videos in the past where I'm like, this is why it's happened. This is how it happened. This is the best explanation I can offer you, like medication, food, stress, one of those. I'm out of it, you know? I'll tell you what has happened before and after the flare-up started. It was, let me get my calendar. Alright, we have here Thursday, October 17th, my dad came to visit. Just a few days prior, I was having a bit of an itchy eczema thing going on, and I'm like, this is weird, this hasn't happened in a while. And it's not the itch where it's like localized, it's that like full body thing going on, and you're like scratching up new, fresh skin. So I was like, this isn't good. This looks like what's going to be a long, chronic flare-up. So my dad stays 17 through 20 or something like that, and the entire time I'm just not having it. I was not having a good time with his visit. It was a combination of not wanting him there, just wanting time to myself, and wanting time with my boyfriend. I didn't want to have to entertain my father. On top of that, I was having a problem with my boyfriend. And it was just something that, like, ordinarily I can handle stress. It doesn't show up on my skin. I've quit school, I've changed jobs, I've moved houses, all very stressful things in my life because all that uncertainty causes anxiety in me. And I didn't show signs of increased, new, or worsening eczema during those times in the last 2 years, 3 years. And here it is, something seemingly, manageable and much smaller than these other big life changes. And then there's this big flare-up. So this flare-up starts somewhere around October 24th. It's when I stopped wearing shorts to work. It's when I started noticing the eczema around my eyes come back and a little bit on my lip. And I started freaking out. I started to think, like, how long is this going to last? Where is this coming from? Told myself that it was some black tea I had or some coconut creamer or something like that. But in all honesty, a cup of black tea or just some thing like that, that would take, if it really were that, it would take a week to get over. It's not 6 weeks. So I'm sort of freaking out and like wondering, where is this coming from? And at one point I tell myself, I don't have an explanation. I don't have a story anymore. I have 2 things. How I feel and how it's progressing. And I'll tell you what, I feel very sad, very angry, and very uncertain. I have no idea what's going on, and I have no way to understand it. So that's one. And the second thing is, I just started to notice the progression of it. After I noted my feelings about it, I was like, just let's see how this is going. I'm doing everything I can that I previously did to get success, just in a more hunkered down manner. So cut out all processed foods, no sugars, eating whole plant foods, some probiotics, some supplements, no oxalate rich foods, which were a problem for me. And did that for a couple of weeks, and things were getting worse and worse and worse. And only recently, probably in the last week, have things started getting better, that my eyes stopped itching, my lip is getting a little bit better, my arms are looking much better, the legs are looking a little bit better. I can bend behind my knees because they get so itchy and torn up that the skin just stiffens up and there's just, oh, it's super fucked. There's no bending it. Which is really, it's hard. So finally, I start to notice that things are sort of getting better. It's kind of crazy. In the matter of 6 weeks, I'm at where it previously took me to get 3 months with my last flare-up. So it seems faster. It seems like maybe it's getting out of my system. But again, it's a story I tell myself. I don't know for sure. And part of me wonders if I live with this for the rest of my life and shit like this happens. Every once in a while there's a terrible flare-up and I start to get re-paranoid about the foods I eat, the things I drink, the things I do, the stress in my life. I want to be resilient. I want to be stable. I want to be able to endure a little bit of shit coming my way without everything crumbling to pieces. It seems so fragile, my system, as opposed to robust. And that's what pisses me off. That I could put in the best ingredients, the most amount of stress reduction, the best, lifestyle practices, and it doesn't mean fucking shit. It doesn't mean that I'm any more resilient than some asshole eating a burger who doesn't have this chronic illness in their DNA to begin with. It makes me so upset. And I feel entitled to having a modicum of fucking stability and health in my life. And it doesn't feel like I've got that whatsoever. I have to go 10 miles further than the next guy just to get a little bit of reprieve from my health issues. So I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know where this is headed. It certainly is getting better. I mean, I haven't had eczema on my palms in months. I mean, it doesn't even look like it's coming back even with this flare-up. It's a little bit on the back of my hands and my arms, which I can deal with. At least I can work with my hands and all that. But sometimes you just want to commiserate. Sometimes you just want to be fucking miserable. Sometimes you want somebody to say, oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, I don't have advice for you. That just sucks. And I'm sure you can figure it out. Most of the time people don't want advice. Most of the time people will search out their own advice. They don't look for people giving it to them. Nobody wants that. And so I'm going to kind of stop doing that. I don't want to give advice. I'll share with you what I'm doing. Do with that what you will. I just want to get to a place where I can eat foods that are relatively healthy, 95% healthy, 5% junky, and be able to live a normal life and to not have to worry about the eczema all the time, to be able to wear the clothes that I like, to not have to take long ass baths and moisturize all the time, and to just have other problems, potentially. But I will be honest, this is the last thing I'll leave with you. Over the summer, my skin cleared up incredibly well. And I thought to myself, especially in these last 2 or 3 years as I've been healing, but nowhere near to the level of healing as I had in, like, say, July, I thought if ever I had 100% clear skin, I wouldn't have problems. I'd be able to tackle them. Everything would be manageable and tolerable. And let me tell you, it was so far from the truth. Over the summer, I started working with this guy, and now we're dating. But, like, just before you start dating someone, like, the roller coaster up and down of, like, whether it's going to happen or not, like, getting to know somebody and all this, all that insanity and turmoil and uncertainty was driving me wild. I was losing sleep, I was losing appetite, I had so much on my mind, and I felt like I was in a state of psychosis, like love crazy. And it was the hardest thing to understand. I was like, I thought my skin would clear up and nothing would bother me. And this thing bothers me worse than the eczema. And it's so crazy because eczema is so familiar. I know how to roll with it. I know the tactics to avoid looking at it and obsessing over it, to eat well, to distract myself, to make the time go by, to exercise, to, you know, socialize with people. All these things I know how to do that get my mind off of the eczema. But I had no idea how to get my mind off of basically this love sickness. And it was the biggest mind fuck in the world. And I even had a video that I never put up, and I don't intend to. And it was just me sitting there on the couch for like 5 minutes, just like staring into oblivion, not even knowing how to put words to how I was feeling. I was so distraught. And I was like, fuck. And it was a moment of humility that, like, even right now, if this eczema heals up, as it gets better and better, some other problem's going to creep in and take its place. And so what this ends up looking like at the end of the day isn't an eczema issue. This is a stress management issue. This is a generalized anxiety issue for me. And part of me really wants to tackle that, you know, with healthy lifestyle practices, but also therapy. And also these YouTube videos have been super cathartic. They help me put words to how I'm feeling, and for people to recognize it and be helped by it or whatever. Just to be acknowledged. So it's insane, you know, this eczema is terrible. And just because it goes away doesn't mean, you know, you never get problems again. And just because you have it doesn't mean you're cursed, you know? You're kind of blessed. You have something that, like, a familiar devil as opposed to the unknown. And so it's kind of this, like, bittersweet situation where I'm like, I'm kind of glad I have it because I'm able to deal with this stress better than most others. But at the same time, I'm terrified because I don't like having it. I don't like this feeling. But yeah, whatever. Here we are. I'll keep you guys updated probably in the next few weeks. But things are going all right. They're getting better. And I'll leave you with that. Peace.